surrender to
right?
love. That thing's so good, I can't help but give into it. That's what it's so
exactly.
good. It's so good.
I have
He's
to
so
submit
good.
first.
I can't help but surrender.
That's right.
The goodness of God leadeth us to think differently.
Right.
To repentance. It's so good. Why wouldn't I want to submit to? It's so good. He's so good. Girl, he's so good to me. I can't help but to surrender and he's loving me so good. He's loving me to life. He's loving my fears away. He's loving my insecurities away. He's loving my scars away. He's loving me. He's healing me. Why wouldn't I submit to that? That's how you lead. That's how you lead a woman. That's how you lead a wife into submission.
Welcome back to another episode of Win as One Gospel Love Edition. I'm Caitlin.
I am Aramis.
And I'm Coach D.
And today we are talking about getting to know love. So let's get to know love.
Great topic.
It is a great topic. I'm excited.
Yeah, we are coming off of a week of our Coffee in the Morning Club where we it's our community where we gather couples and we get into it, we go after it, and we are on the course for marriage mastery and heroic husbandry and wonderful wifery and sensational singles where we're preparing them to be husbands and wives so they don't have to deal with the pitfalls and perils that the divorce culture talk about. And I was on a Clubhouse call and one of the people on the call was saying that, people are running around here getting married. They don't even know love. They don't even know love. They don't even know what love is. And so, okay, you tell me what love is.
Right.
I want to know what you think love is. And the first thing out of the individual's mouth was, well, it refers to love as a feeling. Like they feel like, no, that ain't right either, man. No, So love is a spirit that affects, that stirs the feelings, that agitates the feeling, that incites the feelings. But love is not a feeling, and so I really feel like this whole idea of love, loving, the concept of love, we really need to just take some time to analyze it, consider it, think on it, and allow the Spirit of God to reveal to us what is love. And obviously there's some clear, direct statements made to what love is, and so we want to look at it from the essence to the power to the culture to the aspects of it and the traits of it that speak to it being ageless and timeless and spaceless. Right. And so we were just able to see some aspects of love that most folks don't consider, and we want to bring that to the forefront. We want to bring that to our Coffee in the Morning Club community. We want to bring that to our podcast listeners. We want to bring love so that we know what we're dealing with, right? Like if we're going to understand and be the lovers that God has called us to be, we got to know what love is.
Right. We
got to know what love is, and so. Yeah, we've been diving in. I wasn't able to get through a whole lot of it, but if it take us 2-3 weeks, then that's what it's gonna take. But by the time we get done, see, we have the marriage is made for lovers.
Right.
I know that sounds simple.
Right.
But the impact of that is so penetrating that marriage is made for lovers. And you get folks who are getting married because they associate love with a feeling instead of identifying it with being a lover. We have to be a lover. And how do we become greatly established in the identity of being a lover? Is by knowing, learning, becoming aware, knowing, understanding, and walking in the wisdom to what a lover is.
Right.
See, lovers, and here's what's important. Lovers know what to do. Lovers know what to do in every situation and circumstance. They know what to do. And when it comes to life, and when it comes to value, when it comes to like you got to know love to know what love will do in these situations.
Right.
So that's what the whole
That's the way Jesus operated.
That's how Jesus operated, right? He was love. He knew what to do.
Yeah.
And so when we look at his life, we know what love will do in these situations, or what love is supposed to do. Now, we get in the way of love a lot of times. We get in the way of love doing what it's supposed to do,
right.
But we still attribute the outcome of not allowing love to be to it being love.
Wait, let's say it. What is it exactly that gets in the way of love?
You, self. I mean, it can be a long list of things. Feelings, right? The feelings of it. Your feelings get in the way of it. Your pride get in the way of it. You know, your ignorance gets in the way of it.
The world has taught you should be doing gets in the way of it.
Right,
exactly.
right. The divorce culture and its characteristics gets in the way of love. Yeah. See, the whole fight is against love. Because God is love. If I can stop love, I can stop God. If I can smother love, I can smother God. So, yeah, that's the first thing we have to come to, and the first thing we talk about is God is love. Right. So when you think about love, you can't think about it as a feeling more than we do a spirit, because the Bible says God is a spirit.
Right.
So if God is love, and love is if God is love, and God is a spirit, man, I wish Sister Leslie was here. The saying goes, things that are equal to themselves are equal to the same thing, or something like that. I'm not be saying it right, but
are equal to each other.
If God, equal to each other, right? If God is love, and love is God, and God is a spirit, then love, God, and spirit, they're all one and the same. That's right. So God, spirit, love is a spirit, love is God. So we can't see, but those things, they affect how we feel, but we have to know how to separate what it really is.
Right.
And that's the key to really being a lover that's demanded of us. See, marriage demands of you to be a lover. Yeah. Think about that. Yeah. Marriage the demand that's built into marriage. Like, they're built into. Your wife ain't coming up with these demands. Your husband ain't coming up with these demands. See, that's the problem. But that's the issue. We'll attribute it. Well, she want me to do this, and no. Marriage wants you to do that. Love wants you to do that. Right. Well, she want me to be nice to her. She want me to comfort her. She want me to cuddle with her. Right. Right. Well, he want me to be this, and he want me to listen to him. He want me to respect. Yeah. But that's right.
So the revelation in that is this, though. If I am walking in love, if I am operating in love, there won't be any opposition to that, because love will never leave you where it finds you, right? So
not at all.
Love is going to push me towards the things that she's desiring anyway.
Right.
That's the way it's built to be.
That's the way it's built to be. The love of God constraineth us. That's what Paul said. The love will constrain. That's the actions of love. It'll constrain you, right? God so loved the world, he gave. It'll motivate you. Yeah. That's what love is. See, it's more than this feeling I have. It's a person. It's a personality. It's a being. It's life. I heard my brother Stevie Wonder. I love listening to Stevie. He had some beautiful songs. But Stevie said this. He said, the greatest thing about life is love, and the greatest thing about love is life.
It's life,
right? And we say it like this: we say life is love's playground. If you're not living from love, then you're not experiencing life the way God intended for you to experience it. Because love is life, and life is love. Right? He was singing at one of his friends' weddings, and he was talking about love, and he said the greatest thing about life is love, and the greatest thing about love is life. I said, man, that's beautiful. That's it. Yeah. Right? But love will empower you to meet the demands of marriage. Right. But most folks don't have a definition for marriage, and most folks don't understand love. But they still going to hook up. But then they wonder what's going wrong 3-4 years later, and it's like, well, you don't know nothing.
Well, they're trying to sustain the feeling.
They're trying to sustain or maintain a marriage by a feeling.
Right.
Well, you don't make me feel like you used to make me feel. Right. Okay. Now what? Okay. But I don't feel the way I used to feel. Yeah, we should know that was going to change. Right.
Yeah. Right. Most people, but I guess that's the key. Most people think, or we grow up in a society that gives us this impression that once you fall in love, it stays that way, and you're just in that puppy dog stage for the rest of your life. And that's never been the case. That's never been the case. We thought that. We had this idea in our minds that when we get married, everything is going to change. It's going to be different, and it's funny. So when I was in tech school at BOCES, I told my teacher I was engaged and I was getting married in a year and all that, and some people were congratulating me, but
some people looked at you funny.
right. People looking at me like, oh, you ain't say goodbye to sex, say this, all these different negative perspectives of it, but like I had such a confidence because of the promise that Caitlin made to me was, this is what it's gonna be like. Even in that mindset back then, not knowing nothing about what we talking about today, like I was still standing. No, that this is the promise. This is what it's going to be. And what was crazy about that is we went into this marriage with a promise to each other that we weren't equipped to hold up,
right?
Because we didn't know what love was. We didn't know who love was,
right?
You know what I mean? So how could we have kept that up,
right?
But that's what you're taught,
and that's what have couples ending up, going through what they're going through, and eventually, 60% folks divorcing because we're not aware, we're not intimately knowledgeable, we're not understanding, we're not wise enough to walk in mastery of marriage and love and the skills of loving to sustain, because that's what it takes to maintain and sustain a marriage, is mastery of the skills of loving and mastery of the matrix of marriage. It's the same. It requires those things. So we've been talking about getting to know love, but getting to know it in a way that most folks have no understanding of what it means to get to know love in this way, right? So that's what we've been talking about, and that's what we want to talk about today.
Right. Okay. So you have here the power of love.
One of the first things I think we need to recognize is the power of love. That love is the greatest force known to man. Is love. Right. And again, we're not talking about from a feeling perspective. Right. We just talked about that the thing that moved God, the thing that moved him to do something about mankind, to do something about his man's failure to live up to who he created him to be. The thing that moved God to restore back to him all the things that he gave him originally was love.
I like how you connected. I should say love. I truly do. I really do. Because when I heard you say this, I'm like, damn, my God. When you were talking about when Jesus died, he knew he was going to be resurrected, but it wasn't the way you said it was because love cannot die. Love is life, like you said, right? So Jesus being in love, he went in knowing, he knew the other side, like I'm coming back.
Oh, I'm coming out of this stuff.
I can't die.
Yeah, love always is.
Right.
It is. It always is. It ain't never going to be. It ain't never was. It always is. Yeah. Love is always is. And what people, when they talk about the agony, they either think it was the cross or the whooping post or all that. They think it was going to that stuff. Man, he knew I'm overcome all that stuff anyway. I ain't worried about that. What he was agonizing over was being disconnected from the source of love. Right. He was being disconnected from the source of love, which was his Father. Yeah, was the source of love, right? And so, one of the things we talk about is when the Bible says God is love, that's speaking to him as the source of love. And one of the greatest mistakes we see in marriages a lot of times when it comes to the growth of love. Because people I stopped growing in love for you. My love ain't as strong as it used to be. Right. That's because you're not tapped into the source. Right? Why is it that your love isn't growing? Because love is a fruit. That's another aspect of love. I know we just throwing all the stuff out there, but love is a fruit, and fruit is designed to grow and reproduce after its own kind. Right. So if it's not growing, then something's wrong. It's disconnected. It's something wrong. If your love if you don't love your spouse and your love is not ever increasing and always abounding towards your spouse, something's wrong. Right. It's not with your spouse. Everybody want to blame the spouse. Everybody want to blame his husband. You ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. No, that's wrong. I know that's what the divorce culture will teach you, that your love, the dependency of the growth of your love is on what your spouse do or what they don't do. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Paul told us how to pray to cause your love to grow. He says, Lord, make my love to increase and abound. So love is designed to grow, increase and abound towards each other. Right. Even as the Lord's love grows toward us. That's what he told him. So if you're not praying, first of all, if you're not connected to the source of love in a very intimate, romantic, and I'm going to use that word for relating to God, intimate and romantic way, in an affectionate and passionate way, then your love won't grow for your spouse. Right.
People don't see that relationship with God that way.
No, they don't, because
definitely not romantic and passionate.
I want to say a word, but I don't want folks to cut us off. Man.
Say it.
They just ignorant. They just don't know better.
Right. That's all the word means.
They just don't know.
Yeah.
Because as the church, as the leadership in the church, we've done a poor job teaching them. Right? We related to love as being the feeling. Well, no, they just don't know better. Right. But the passion and the romance and the affection and the intimacy that I have for my wife begins with what I have with the source of love. Right. My love is designed to increase and abound, not because what my spouse do or what my spouse don't do, but because the love affair that I'm in, this passionate, vehement love affair that just overflows, and it flows into every other relationship in my life. Now my love is growing. I'm growing in love, not in my feelings, but I'm growing in the spirit. I'm growing in the essence. I'm growing in the power of loving. Right? That's it. I'm growing in it. And once we enter into the law of love, because love is a law, right? It talks about that in James 1:8, the royal law. Love is a law. Now, understanding what a law is designed to do, laws are designed to govern a certain action or behavior in life consistently and effortlessly.
Well, people try to do that themselves.
They try to do it themselves. That's why they struggle. They get done for a week. They get done for maybe a week and a half.
Yeah.
Some people get done for 3 weeks. But it's like your shoulder muscle against gravity. Right? When you hold your arm out like this,
it's gonna give up.
I might be able to hold mine out against Kate, especially now. I might be able to hold mine out a little longer than Kate. Right?
I don't know, that robot arm might have
you got the body thing on. I might be able to hold it out here a little bit longer, but eventually it's gonna lose.
Right. Yeah.
This muscle, this shoulder muscle, this girdle right here, this multiplex of muscle, it's gonna lose because gravity is too consistent.
Right.
It's too consistent.
You can put it down now.
It's too consistent. It's too consistent.
Right.
It ain't gonna quit. Gravity ain't gonna quit.
Right.
Love won't quit. Love is too consistent. I'm gonna break through that. I'm gonna break through that shoulders. I'm gonna break through that depression. I'm gonna break through that anxiety. I'm gonna break through that molestation. I'm gonna break through that fear. I'm gonna break through with my love. See, that's loving. Right. That's the power of love. It's the royal or the way of kings and queens is love.
Do you think well, I know you do. I'll just say it. So I think that people's training to be fearful of the repercussions of sin causes them to be more focused on the action as opposed to being in love. You get what I mean? So like we I used to go to church and hear all the time, well, if you don't pray, if you don't do this, then Satan's gonna have a door open to come in and do this, and so you get obsessed almost with, well, I got to make sure I systematically pray every day and I systematically read my Bible every day, and you get so bent out of shape about these empty actions that you and part of it is teaching, but you never really develop the idea that it's more importantly about the relationship than it is the actions, the outward actions that we really put on show for other people, not for God.
Right.
You know what I
mean? He know what's really happening. You play all you want. You play all you want.
I know what's on the inside of you.
I know what's going on.
Yeah, but I think that takes our sight off of what love does, because we're so in tune, through teaching and just the fleshly response to do. As opposed to just being in love.
And that goes back to what we always talk about is it's about being first. Yeah. It's about being a lover, right? When you operate in the being aspect of being a lover, now you're able to enter into the law of loving, which now will inspire, strengthen, sustain the actions of loving.
Right.
That's why most couples, folks they go see, their marriage never get transformed. They get transacted, but they don't get transformation.
Right.
See, most folks, counselors, it's transactional, right? Again, it's, well, if you do this, she'll do this. If you do this, it's transactional on one level. The other level is transactional monetarily between them and the counselor, right? It's designed to keep you coming back for me, right? Because they only deal with the root of the problem. I'm sorry, they only deal with the fruit of the problem, right? So they can never get transformation. You never get transformation, or you never transform a marriage by dealing with the fruit. And I begin to deal with the fruit when I say, well, Caitlin, you shouldn't say that. Well, I have to give Caitlin the power not to say that. I gotta teach her how to walk in the power of not to say that, or she just gonna keep on saying it. What she gonna do? Just like you said, she gonna okay. I can't say that. I can't say that. So when Aramis says something that she don't like, I can't say that. I can't say that. I can't say that. I can't say that.
You see it building up.
I need to go take a walk. I'm gonna say something. I need a minute. No, that's not how it works.
Right.
I gotta get Caitlin to identify as a lover. And understand how a lover responds. I got to get Caitlin to enter into the law of love. And then when something comes across that may not be to her liking, it's not a willpower, it's not a marriage, it's not a grind, it's okay. Love will respond in a loving way automatically because of the law of love. We said there's three things that love, the power of love will cause you to do. Function as a heroic husband and a wondrous wife. It'll create a liberty within a relationship, right? And when we're talking about, and then also it'll enable you to lead by love. We lead by love. As a husband, I lead my family by love. I lead my wife by love. As a wife, I lead and I navigate my husband by love. I lead and I navigate by love. Well, we're trained and we're taught to do it other ways. And it don't last. It's not sustainable. It's not scalable. But when you identify with the being a lover, now the power of that love and being a lover, now you enter into it, and now I'm from the inside out have the ability to act as a heroic husband. I'm not trying to be a heroic husband. I'm being that. It's just it's, as we said earlier, love comes with its traits and characteristics already built within it. Love comes with its own language. Love comes with its own culture. Love comes with its own law. Love comes with its own constitution. Love comes with its own culture. We don't have to make this stuff up. We have to yield to it. But when we don't do that, and we're trained and we're taught to operate from the outside in instead of from the inside out, now the actions of a heroic husband and a wondrous wife come forth easier. Easier, I should say, not easier, but easier.
Effortless.
It's effortless. It's like I'm not trying. I'm being. When I'm able to be, then I can do. Once I'm able to be and I'm doing, now I'll have what I'm supposed to have as a marriage. But if we're not teaching people the power of love and we're just talking to them as if it's just a feeling, but it's not a spirit, it's not a power, it's not a force, it's not a might that comes with it, then they have no choice but to operate from the outside in. That's how they're going to function as a husband. That's how they're going to function as a wife. They're not going to be able to walk in that level of queenliness or kingliness or husbandry or wifery that marriage demands. Like, it demands that of you. See, that's the problem. We want to get married, but we don't want to live up to the demands of marriage, and then we want to say, well, something wrong with marriage. The answer is no.
That's why they say marriage is hard.
Marriage is hard. Or marriage is outdated. No, it's not. You outdated. Marriage ain't outdated. No, but it's built in. Its demands are built into it, and we just have to be equipped to live up to the demands of marriage. And that is entering into the law. Another thing, the power of love will give you a liberty. It'll give you an ability to be a freedom and a freedom to love. In spite of. Man, if we can get that across. To love in spite of. See, the law gonna work. The law of gravity gonna work in spite of you jumping up as high as you can. It's still gonna work.
It's consistent.
It ain't gonna, just because you can jump 20 feet in the air don't mean the law of gravity quit. If you don't have nothing to sustain you at 20 feet in the air, you coming down. Because it don't quit. See, the law. Oh,
wait. This is good. So wait. So in that analogy, right? the higher you go, the harder you fall. Right. There's an increase in the efficacy of the law. Right. Love operates the same way. The same exact way.
Good. Yeah, that's good. The same way. It operates the same way.
The efficacy is increased.
The Bible says like this, that we be rooted and grounded in love.
Yeah.
That we may be able to comprehend the breadth, the length, the depth, and the height of love, and know the love of Christ, that we might be filled with all the fullness of God. See, the more you're rooted in it, the more the efficacy of it, increases to the point to where, man, you loving like God loves.
Right.
The fullness of God is love. The fullness of God is love. The fullness of who we are is love.
Yep.
We were created to love.
That's it.
When we disconnected from God, the power that was lost, the efficacy that was lost, was that of love. Now I'm doing it from the outer court instead of from the inner court.
Right.
Now I'm doing it from the feeling instead of from the spirit.
Wondering why it's wilting away.
Wondering why it's diminishing. Wondering why this thing ain't lasting. Wondering why, man, I don't feel like I don't feel the same. Yeah, that's because you're going by feeling.
This is how people end up with 2 or 3 marriages. They move on from one, find that feeling with another person.
They chasing feelings.
Exactly.
And them feelings gonna faint. They chasing feelings.
That's it.
But that's because they ain't connected to the Coffee in the Morning Club. They don't know love. I gotta put that plug in there. They don't know love.
if you haven't signed up,
they're not hearing it. Right. CoffeeInTheMorningClub.com.
Right.
They're not hearing it. But they're not. See, how does faith come? By hearing. What's faith? A law. Right? Believing is a law. We have to enter into that particular law. We have to enter into the law of love. How do we enter into the law of love? By hearing about the beauty and the power and the case and the charity. By hearing about love. Hearing that love never fails. Don't blame love. Well, one of the saddest things I've ever heard a preacher say on the TV screen was, "Love ain't enough." Like what?
Saying God ain't enough?
You saying God ain't enough? God ain't enough to keep y'all together? Come on, it's silly.
Oh my gosh.
Brother, it's silly.
Right.
It's silly. God ain't enough to keep a marriage together? Come on, it's silly.
Right.
But they talking about the feeling.
The feeling.
Yep.
They talking about the feeling.
Yep.
Right? That's what they referring to. That feeling in love. Right. But that's not love.
Exactly.
Love ain't a feeling. Man, get on TV. I'm talking about everybody watching it. National TV. TV ain't everybody watching it. Love ain't enough. Man, get it off my TV. It's silly. But that's what people listen to.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what people are saying.
That's what they believe.
Well, love wasn't enough. No, you wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And I get it. There's some situations where, man, you got to go. This ain't, we're quitting. I ain't gonna argue with you about that. But it wasn't love. Because love never fails. That's the power of love.
Right.
Man.
That's the power of love. Look, I get it. Somebody decided I ain't doing it no more. And they might not be wrong.
Yeah.
They might not be wrong. But the point is, the law of love penetrate anything. The liberty, and then if me as a husband, if I'm leading by love, she won't have a problem following.
Not at all.
She won't have a problem submitting. If you're leading by love, man, my wife won't. Whoa. How you leading? You leading by love?
Right.
Are you leading by brute might? Are you leading by the masculinity of being a man and I'm the head? How you leading?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've been on both sides before. I've seen both ends. We're putting it out there, you know. And it's just that I don't want to follow that.
No.
That I don't feel. There's not that. It's not a. With my connection with God and my relationship, it wasn't as strong as it should have been either. So I know I wasn't doing everything that I should have been doing as a wife, but I still knew that this wasn't right? It shouldn't be this hard. Why is it this hard? There's something that we're not doing right. There's something
that's a great mindset
that we're not doing.
Most folks wouldn't think like that. They think they'd be blaming love.
Right.
But watch this. Here's a sobering. This is sobering. I know a lot of folk don't want to live here. But this is sobering. You're either leading by love or you're leading by fear.
Yes.
You're leading by love or you're leading by fear.
Right.
You're trying to scare your wife into loving you and to following you.
Wow.
Either leading by love, because perfect love, the antithesis of leading by love is leading by fear. Right? Kings either lead by love, about how well they treat their people, or they lead by fear.
Yeah.
Perfect love casteth out all fear, though. So if I'm leading by love, there ain't no fear there.
Right.
That's the liberty. The liberty of love, it eliminates fear. Now I'm free to love, she's free to love, we free to love. We're not worried about fear. We're not afraid of anything. But if you're either leading by love or you're leading by fear. When a woman is led by fear, she only gonna let you lead her by fear for so long.
Right.
She ain't gonna submit to that. But if you're leading by love, she'll submit to that easy.
I think the temptation for a guy.
Fix it, man. We can fix it.
100%. 100%. The temptation for a guy is taking control, right? It's what you've talked about before, where we all desire power, but our desire for it is a perversion of what it should be, right? So for the guy, it's all about, like, I'm in a position of power as a man, right? I've learned that I'm the man, I'm the head of the household, this, that, and the other thing, right? But if my woman is not following and doing what I say, I'm losing that control. I'm losing that power. I have to then do something to take that control, to take that power. And here's where love comes into that equation. We think that because the word says that she is supposed to love me and submit to me, right, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's a problem with her. That has nothing to do with it, because, like you said, it's a surrender to love. It's a surrender to love.
That's what you do, right? You surrender to
right?
love. That thing's so good, I can't help but give into it. That's what it's so
exactly.
good. It's so good.
I have
He's
to
so
submit
good.
first.
I can't help but surrender.
That's right.
The goodness of God leadeth us to think differently.
Right.
To repentance. It's so good. Why wouldn't I want to submit to? It's so good. He's so good. Girl, he's so good to me. I can't help but to surrender and he's loving me so good. He's loving me to light. He's loving my fears away. He's loving my insecurities away. He's loving my scars away. He's loving me. He's healing me. Why wouldn't I submit to that? That's how you lead. That's how you lead a woman. That's how you lead a wife into submission. You gotta love her to life.
Yeah.
You gotta love her insecurities away. You gotta love her fears away. You gotta love her hurt away. You gotta love her pain away. You gotta love all that away. She'll follow you to the moon. She'll man, come on, man. But we ain't teaching our husbands that stuff.
Right. Well, we are.
We are. We are. Coffee in the Morning Club, we are.
Right.
But submission. Give me a husband coming to my day, wife ain't submitting. Oh, he telling me a whole lot about him.
Yeah, that's it.
He think he telling on her. Nah, bro, you telling on you.
Yeah.
You telling on you.
Yeah.
Right.
You telling me a whole lot about what you. No, don't get me wrong. There might be some situations, but 99.99999.
Listen, that is the understanding across the board.
That's what it is. You telling me about you.
Yep.
You telling me you ain't doing something. You ain't loving like you know, like the power in you to love.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what it is. So when we talk about getting to know love, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the great commandment, the principle, the foremost thing is the thing that sets life in order is loving. Oh, that's good. I like that. The thing that sets life in order, like the man came to Jesus. The religious folk, the Pharisees, they couldn't figure Jesus out. They couldn't set him up. So they sent a lawyer. Now lawyers in their day was someone who knew the law, just like our lawyers today. They're supposed to know the law. They mastered the law. They know it like nobody else. So they sent a lawyer to Jesus. They asked him, what is the greatest commandment of all? He said, to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy might, with all thy strength. Right. That word there for a commandment is the word for the foremost thing, or the highest order, or the thing that sets things in order, or the prescription for life. He said it's to love God with all your heart. See, that sets it in order. Now you're ready to love your wife. Now you're ready to love your children. Now you're ready to love your community. Now you're ready to walk in love. Now you're able to enter into the law of love. Once you enter into the law of love, the actions of love kicks in, and love never fails. 3 things, and then we'll be done. Never let to lose its power. So love, as you said, the efficacy of love is always there. Love is never driven off course. Right? So love has an aim. When my aim and my desire is to love my wife to life. It's to love everything I just said. To love her and to be in the fullness of who God. To love her in the wholeness. It's to embody. It's to say it in one big word. It's to love her to wholeness, spiritually, soulishly, physically, economically, socially. It's to love her into wholeness. That's what I'm supposed to do. And then that brings us to the point where there's nothing externally that can affect how I love my wife internally. There's nothing on the outside, right? That can stop it. There may be things that I may have to come. There may be things that I have to navigate. There may be things that I have to cash down. But nothing's gonna stop it. Nothing's gonna stop it.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna stop it. I'm gonna love you anyway. Right? That's the power of it. Yeah. So that's what we talked about last week.
Man, that's nice.
And that's where it all begins for us. So
yeah, that was so good. That was if you didn't get the power of love in this podcast, just drag that bar back and listen all over again, because
spin that thing back. Spin that thing back.
There's so much. It's beautiful. But yes, that's all we have for today. So thank you so much for joining us.
Wait, I'm sorry. Let me remind. I didn't do it. So listen. We talk about Coffee in the Morning Club, and we just kind of skimmed over. But we're serious about this. This is something that's important. So we're creating a community of lovers that are striving toward marriage mastery, and no matter where you are in your marriage, most people are settling. People who've been married over 7 years, they've gotten to the point where they've accepted he ain't gonna never change, or she ain't gonna never change. This is just the way it's gonna be. No. Don't settle. We can fix that thing.
Right.
We have this thing we call Fix It Friday, where we focus on fixing whatever has been messed up, and we're gonna help you fix it. But you got to submit to a different culture. You got to come out of the divorce culture, which causes all the problems that you have right there, and you got to come into a whole different culture, the culture of love. Once they come into that culture of love, now. I want to say bragging, but I wasn't bragging. But I was boasting last week in our last podcast about how I can fix most marriages in one move. I can fix it in one move, right? We can fix that thing in as few moves as possible than most folks. We can fix it. So www.coffeeinthemorningclub.com.
And it's not just for married couples. It's for people who are preparing.
No. Matter of fact, that's a great point.
Yeah.
We're about preparing and equipping. That's what we really want to be preventative.
Right.
And if we really want to reduce the divorce rate, we gotta get to singles. We gotta properly prepare them, right? So the scripture says this: he that findeth the wife findeth a good thing. Now, when he says he that findeth the wife, she ain't married. She's still single. She just prepared. She's just ready.
Yeah.
That's what that scripture speaks to. She ready, right? But the divorce coach ain't getting you ready.
Right.
In most cases, it's preparing you to divorce.
Yeah.
With this thing we call dating. It's preparing you to divorce. With how most people date. There is a way we can date that won't lead you or won't help prepare you for divorce, but 99.99999% of people don't date that way.
Right.
The way we treat people to date, or we train people to date, is preparing them to divorce. So, but yeah, just go to our website. Fill out the information, join the community. We're letting folks join for free right now. That's how bad we want people to get into it. We letting them join for free right now. So take advantage of this opportunity to join our Coffee in the Morning Club for free at this moment.
It's not always going to be free.
Always be this way.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be free, and it is growing by the minute.
Free.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I want to say.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, and we will see you next week.
All I do is win, no matter what.